friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just got the new Hedgehog Hollow kit for November in my mail yesterday, and couldn't wait to play with it because it's all about winter. This 4x6 stamp set is so adorable. Love the snowman, love that big cup of hot cocoa and the fantastic sentiments. So I'm excited about this kit. I love this. And then this 6x8 set, Baby It's Cold Outside, with the vertical sentiments. And I'm not always a huge fan of vertical sentiments. I love these. They're big, they've got images. I love that gorgeous big walking in the winter wonderland sentiment. And I love when stamp sets include extra little things like those snowflakes. So this is a slimline stencil and it's fantastic. And it came with some mini slimline or skinny mini, I think they're called, slimline card fronts, so that's pretty fun. Then we get a package of 3 different corner stencils, and I'm loving these stencils. Like, I'm thinking, how could I modify this one to use it for not Christmas, that vine one? The gingerbread and the candy canes, genius. I love it. It's genius. And then, of course, this fantastic snowman face with the snowflakes all around. And then we got 2 packages of, I think there's 5 envelopes in each one of these. I got a brown wood grain and then a beautiful cream with a metallic sheen. So I'm pretty excited about this kit. Like, I feel like this is one I can use all winter. It's not Christmas, it's winter. So all through February, I will be using these stamps because they're fantastic. And those 4 little snowflakes are fabulous. So I'm going to pull out 2 different colors of cardstock, and I pulled out one of the blues. I'm trying to think of the name of this. I can't think of the name of this blue, but it's one of Maker Forte's blues. And then I'm going to pull out a Rebellion red, and I'm going to cut a panel that from each of them that is 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. Once I got each of these cut, I decided I wanted to add a little ink to the edges. So at first I pulled out a couple of different reds here, and this one is Festive Berries, and it's a little bit lighter than I wanted on this particular Rebellion red, but I'm going to go with it. I actually don't mind that it's lighter because the lighter will just help other things stand out. And I pulled out this Fired Brick, and my purpose of doing this is to give the edge a really dark look. And the Fired Brick is not quite as dark as I would like it to be. So I went back and pulled out this Aged Mahogany to go around the very edge, and I pulled out Candied Apple to do a little bit more toward the center. I'm not coloring the very center, like the lighter of the 2 colors, which in this case now is Candied Apple, is sort of going around the outside, but not the center. So I'm leaving that cardstock showing through the center, and then I'm taking the Aged Mahogany and going around the edge. And I'll go around the edge one more time before I put the card together because I really want that edge to be dark. I just am, for some reason, loving that this holiday season, that dark edge. And I'm going to do the same thing to the blue. So for this blue, you can see I'm using prize ribbon, and I'm just going around the edge, and I'm going probably about an inch in toward the center all around all 4 edges, and just it kind of lightens up the edge a little bit, and then you have sort of a darker center, then a lighter spot, and then I'm using Chip Sapphire, which is my very favorite blue because it's got a lot of red in it, so you get that purple look. The cardstock actually has a really purple look also. And so I'm darkening up those edges, and I am going to give the ink time to dry before I move on because I want to use those vertical sentiments and those little snowflake stamps and heat emboss them in white. And before I do that, I'm going to clean up my desk really well, and then I'm going to let those sit for a few minutes so the ink has time to dry and it won't hold on to my embossing powder. Okay, so again, that was prize ribbon and chipped sapphire. I did go ahead and stamp the sentiments that I liked in clear embossing ink and covered them in white embossing powder and heat set them. Then I just started going around the cards with those 4 little snowflake dies, and I'm kind of placing them randomly, trying to put some toward the center, some toward the edge. You might want to make some go off the edge of the card. And again, I'm just inking those up in clear embossing ink, and then I'm going to cover those with white embossing powder and go ahead and heat set those. And I'm just going to make sure I go all around the edges of the card. Once I got that done, I used my darker inks again, and for the blue that was the chipped sapphire, for the red that's the aged mahogany, and I just went around the edges and really tried to deepen up the edges. And this also helps if you're using cardstock. Like I'm using the Maker Forte cardstock, which is solid quart cardstock, which means that it's blue throughout the whole paper. But some papers, when you cut them, you can see that they're white on the inside. This little step will really help to make your edges look finished off. So if you're not using solid quart cardstock, it'll cover that up. But with the solid quart cardstock, it's not as crucial. I just really wanted it to be dark on the edges of the card. So by adding those extra snowflake stamps, that's one technique you can use to create a snowfall look on your cards. I have 2 other things I want to show you for creating a snowfall look on your cards. And here, before I move on to the next snowfall look, I'm using a paper towel just to remove the ink from those embossed images, because heat embossing is actually a resist technique, so the ink doesn't stick to them, but it does sometimes cover them up, so you just kind of want to buff it off. Here's technique number 2 for adding a snowfall look, and that is spritzing your dye inks, like your Distress Oxides, with water, and then I let that water sit for a little bit and then blot it up. Now remember that I don't have ink in the center where my sentiment is. I didn't ink up the whole top of the card, so I'm not going to get the effect around the sentiment. It'll be wet and then it'll dry in the center and you won't even see those spots. But around the edges, and I'm going to do this a couple times, really concentrating on the edges of the card where the ink is, because that's where this effect will work. Because Distress Oxides are dye-based inks or water-based inks, so this lifts the color where the water lands. And you can kind of see the effect that you get. So I added both of these to card bases, which I cut at 8.5 by 7, and I scored and folded at 3.5. I just put the card fronts on, and I decided I wanted one more little detail because I felt like I wanted a more sparkly snow effect. And there's many ways you could do this. Like you could use sequins. Silver sequins or white sequins, or probably you have some snowflake sequins in your stash. Most of us probably have something like that we got somewhere, and they've been there for a while. This is a perfect time to use them. I do like to add a little silver sequin or a white sequin or a combination of the two, but a white gel pen, if you just put dots all around like I'm doing here, you'll see that it leads to this really sparkly look. So hopefully, even if you don't have the Hedgehog Hollow subscription box kit, you have some winter stamp sets that you can use these ideas for. And if you don't have the Hedgehog Hollow subscription box kit and you want it, You can try ordering it on the hedgehoghollow.com. I'll put the link below. And you will find that the subscription boxes go really fast. So if you're not ordering it at the end of October or the very beginning of November, you're probably not going to get this particular kit, because they usually only have about a dozen maybe extra kits, and they go fast. This one will go especially fast if it's not gone already. But if you are interested in these kits, you can get a monthly subscription. You save a little bit if you subscribe for 3 months or 6 months, and you get extra regular subscriber bonus items in your box, which I believe this month was the envelopes. And so that's kind of fun. And they are delivered to your door every month, which is a lot of fun also. And it's a different kit every month. It's so much fun. I love them because a lot of times you get products. So please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.